All right, well, welcome to Sailing Vessel Take Me There. Sailing Vessel Take Me There is a 1975 Gulfstar M53 ketch rig motor sailor. It's an all fiberglass construction. This particular one, we've added a pilot house, and we're going to give you a quick boat tour so that you have an idea of the kind of conditions that we live in, that we sail in, and a lot of the things that we use aboard in order to make our adventure exciting. This is the Mizzen deck. So the Mizzen mast and other equipment here is for our sail that's in the back, and this is a stabilizing sail. And then the other gear that's around the back of the boat briefly is a barbecue, a propane locker, some of our spare cruising stuff for excess water, folding bikes that get us around, solar panels on hydraulic davits that serve us for green power needs, and also holds our 10-foot RIB with a 15 horsepower 4-stroke on it. Over onto this side, spare propane tanks, fish cleaning station, washing station, and I spend a lot of time on the back deck when I'm working projects and other things. Up on the Mizzen deck itself are 2 large lazarettes that we store gear and sails and lines and a number of other stuff in. And then we also carry some emergency spare fuel, both gasoline for the RIB, and then 15 gallons of spare diesel just in case we need it or somebody else does. This is a ketch rigged vessel, so we have 2 masts, the Mizzen in the rear and the main in the front. Our foredeck is pretty big. The boat overall length is 53 feet from bow sprit to swim platform. We're almost 60 with the rib hanging off the back, so there's a lot of space up here on the front to enjoy. We've got a lot of gear up on front to help us in our cruising adventures. We carry a pair of kayaks, 10-foot kayaks for us to move around in. So up on the front deck includes the windlass, the jib. This is the spinnaker, which we've used several times in our transit outside into the Atlantic, the anchor setup, and the washdown. Get a good view of the deck from the bow of the boat, and then of course the pilot house. The pilot house is important to us. When we bought the boat 5 years ago, the cockpit was an open cockpit with a Dodger and a Bimini canvas setup. It was nice, it was aged, it was coming apart, and it really wasn't as sturdy and secure as we would like it to be. The visibility wasn't good for navigation. The isinglass was kind of cloudy, so we went ahead and put a pilot house rig on this. This actually comes off the boat when you need to, but lots of polycarbonate windows. It's all fully enclosed, keeps us out of the weather. It's nice and warm, and then allows air ventilation when you raise the canvas parts for us to sail. I can operate all the lines from within the cockpit. I can sail the boat from within the cockpit, with the exception of making advanced sail adjustments or putting up another sail, which I have to come out on deck for. This is a center cockpit vessel. We're actually standing over the main engine room. This is about 3/4 of the way back from the bow of the boat. Gives me a good view of what's going on. We do have a bow thruster, which is great for a boat this size. You need something to swing the bow around. We're powered by a John Deere 360 horse turbocharged diesel 6-cylinder engine, and we also carry a Kubota Phaser 2 16 kilowatt generator. So we're pretty well outfitted, you know, in the navigation power categories and the power yourselves categories. We carry a Garmin GPS Map 4210 up here, along with all of the other systems gauges and switches and everything that we need. The cockpit has surround sound, Bluetooth, Wi-Fi. All the sailing instruments are up front so that you can see them. It's well lighted at night. We put in LED lighting so that we can see. And we've had a canvas guy do our custom canvas surround on the hard cockpit, which has worked out pretty darn well. We have sunshades as well as isinglass. All the windows split out for me to be able to bring lines into the cockpit for the electric winches. and we do pretty well with what we have. We are autopiloted. We love the autopilot, and that's why we like being outside, because hand steering in the ICW is not one of my favorites.
So this is the V-berth. This is where I sleep at night. This is where the magic happens. So there's a lot of storage here in the V-berth. Underneath of this center panel, there are actually drawers and other compartments where we can store things. There's a closet, there's a dresser, and there's lots of shelving space for me to store all of my stuff. So this is the crew head. We have a full-length shower.
The toilet, and specifically getting rid of waste when you're on a boat, most people just have a tank. We have a very large tank here. We have a 45-gallon waste holding tank. We also have Electrosan device, a marine sanitation device first class, that cleans the waste or sterilizes it so that it can be sent overboard in the appropriate areas when you're not designated as a no dumping zone.
We first moved onto the boat in April of 2014. The crew cabin was my office. So we had a technical support person come on board, hooked me up with my server here in the closet. So the closet contained my server, all of my telecommunication stuff, everything. So this became my office and where I did all of my business. So Steve would go off to work during the day and I would be here on the boat working. And then if I wasn't working, of course I was going to school. So this is also where all of my dissertation work was done as well. So we laugh about the fact that I nested in here. What we found out was that we had a leak going on behind this wall. And Steve did an awesome job removing the entire wall here.
It was not only a leak at the window, which as you can see, we've still got some trim work to do. But there was also condensation rolling down the inside of the hull because, you know, it's 25, 35 degrees outside, it's 90 degrees in Kimberly's cabin, and, you know, the hull sweats where it touches the water. So we were getting water pooling underneath the mattress. We completely stripped out all of the wall parts here in this cabin. There's still an extra piece, you know, laying in here that's stored and out of the way. And we put in an R12 insulation, initial batting, and then some more batting behind that, and then a vapor barrier. So that when there is condensation against the hull, it runs down into the bilge, doesn't damage any of the fabric or the wall coverings, and certainly doesn't pool, you know, underneath the mattress and get the mattress moist. This is an over and under bunk configuration. Each one of the cabins that you've seen so far is fully outfitted with DVD, stereo, Wi-Fi extenders, so that anybody who joins us on an adventure has connectivity to our main system that's in the salon. The V and the crew cabin are both air conditioned and heated with a 10,000 BTU unit. They share.
The things that I found out when we were looking at boats was that not all boats have a washer and dryer. So when we came across this one, and it did have one, I was pretty excited about it. So one of the things that we just recently replaced was the washer and dryer. This was not a cheap deal when we bought this, somewhere around $1,200 or $1,300, right, for us to replace the washer and dryer. But I am so glad that we did. European style, so put it in, washes and dries in the same tumbler.
So into the salon. This is the main space in any boat. This is the place where most folks are normally spending most of their time. We're lucky our boat has a beam of 16 feet. This is a wide boat. So 16 feet from wall to wall, not necessarily 16 feet of floor space, but it works out pretty well. So where I have my hand at the moment are lee bars that keep things from falling in on us when we stack them up behind them, and these lee bars are removable. We put them behind the the settees when we're in port and we're not needing to use them under transit. But we store a lot of stuff up in these spaces. Here in the salon are all the main systems. So we have a large, a good size LED TV. We have our cellular network that's in here that's a Wi-Fi hotspot tied to an antenna that's 63.5 feet up on the mast, on the main mast, that gets us good cellular signal, and our internet when internet's available. We have, of course, a surround sound, DVD, Blu-ray, stereo, you name it, we got it, Bluetooth, all the features of home, and we're very comfortable in here. This space is heated and cooled by a 16,000 BTU air conditioner heater unit. It's a heat pump. We also have auxiliary heat in this part of the boat and in the aft cabin, which is electric. And then we also have propane heat, which is available to us by bringing out some very safe indoor ventless heaters that connect to designated lines that come out of the cabinets and provide us propane heat when electricity isn't something that we want to use. Most of our cruising supplies, if you will, dry goods and those kind of things, paper products and whatnot, are stored underneath all this stuff here. Kimberly added the footstools. All this we just recently had reupholstered, but she added the footstools, and each one of the footstools is also a storage space as well as a cockpit. So we can do all kinds of neat things in here.
The dinette area is something that Steve also reconfigured and redesigned, and I'm really glad that he did. So this used to be one whole piece back here. It was very difficult to pull out and put back in, and now by having it 3 separate pieces, we can easily pull out each piece. We can get back there individually so I can access all my canning supplies. So then we move into the galley, which is where I spend a great majority of my time. When we originally bought the boat, they did not have a standalone ice machine. They also did not have an oven. And so after being on board, I don't know, I guess maybe about a year or so, we found that an ice machine was critical. We needed to find space to put it. And so, of course, whenever you put something into a boat, something else has to get moved out. There wasn't enough space for everything. So we gave up a cabinet here in the galley to put in an ice machine. I guess we were on board about 2 years when I decided that there was only so much I could do with an electric fry pan and a crock pot and a stovetop, and I really wanted an oven. And so we installed an oven. That was also another expensive endeavor. I think we paid almost $1,000 for the oven to have that put in here. But I am so glad that we did, because I spend a lot of time cooking. This is typically the life jacket locker. We relocated the life jackets so that I could turn this into the area for the pantry. So this is all of my cooking supplies, everything from the electric fry pan, the griddle, pots and pans, storage containers, toaster, those types of things are all in there.
We installed a rather advanced capability of a fuel polishing system to clean the fuel in our tanks so that we wouldn't have issues with dirty fuel. So this is my fuel polishing system, and I can direct fuel basically anywhere in the boat, or even give somebody else fuel from our tanks if I need to.
Again, cooking is pretty much where I spend a lot of my time. I really like the fact that one of the other recent projects that we did was putting in a spice rack so I could have additional spices underneath the stairs. Every little bit of space matters, so it's important to use that space well, so it's nice to have extra storage back here. The boat came with 2 refrigerators and went to a smaller microwave oven because the microwave used to be underneath the stovetop. So when we got the oven, we had to relocate the microwave. So a smaller microwave, but works just fine. And all of the conveniences, I have cooked everything from basic hot dogs and hamburgers all the way to, let's see, Thanksgiving meal one year. With turkey and all of the side dishes. So it works just great for me. I tell Steve every day I love my galley.
So the navigation station is really the heart of the boat, especially for the whole sailing requirements. Lots and lots of electronic gear. Garmin GPS Map 4212, which is the heart of our navigation planning system, our electronic maps, our GPS, all those kind of things. We do have AIS, Automatic Identification System, that broadcasts a signal that says, hey, this is SV, take me there, and this is who we are, and how big we are, and what direction we're going. It's really important that big ships see you, especially some of the ports that we're coming in and out of. We can also see other vessels from all of that. The rest of the stuff up here, we have our radio systems. We have both VHF as well as single sideband radio, ham radio if you will, that allows us to almost talk all over the world, and I'm getting pretty practiced at that. We also have an ability to connect to SailNet, which is an email capability through our SSB radio. So we can send text style email and receive it while we're in places where you just can't get a Wi-Fi signal or a cell signal or anything else. So we're able to be able to be connected. Two computer systems. One I use for work, the other one I use for navigation. And everything's connected up to the main screens and playing together. We also have a big capability to store data in Tera drives, and then there's some smaller accoutrements up here. We have an onboard printer to be able to do things for Kimberly's business. Battery charging. We have ultrasonic anti-fouling devices that are installed within the boat to keep the hull clean. And we also have the satellite technology along with Inmarsat. So back here behind my captain's chair, this is kind of like sitting on the bridge of the Enterprise right here. We also have telephone capability, so we can connect to an Inmarsat satellite and communicate in an emergency if we need to.
Coming down through the hallway here from the galley to the stern, I love the fact that I've got a huge pantry area. When David and I go and provision the boat, we typically provision for 3 to 4 weeks of dry goods, and sometimes it actually lasts us upwards of 5 to 6 weeks worth of dry goods here in the pantry area.
Okay, so we have a John Deere 360 horse turbocharged diesel and a Phaser 2 Kubota powered diesel generator that's 16 kilowatts. This is a full-size stand-up engine room, which is, I'm always told, that's the envy of most folks that wish they could get to their engine and stand around it and work on it. So the engine's on this side, the generator's on this side, water heater, big Xantrex power system inverter unit. Built for a house. We can sell power back to the grid if dock power pedestals would run backwards. A lot of gear in here, a lot of stuff in here, but this is really the mechanical heart of the vessel. And we also have a 60-gallon-per-hour water maker system that is installed in here that fills our tanks in about 3 hours. We have forced air electric heat running through here into the aft cabin and into the salon, and then we carry a lot of other gear that's essential for cruising, motoring, and sailing.
And then we end the tour with the master cabin and full master bath here at the stern of the boat. Some of the things that I appreciate most about this is, once again, the storage space. So we took the locker here in the front and converted it from a hanging locker to drawer-filled locker. So I can store pretty much everything that I have here in this one locker. Again, remembering that when we first moved on board, Steve and I were both working. So it wasn't like we could just have room for shorts and t-shirts. We still needed professional attire as well. And we still have some of that on board, in addition to cold weather gear. With the addition of Gus a couple of months ago, we also need room for him, so we've got Gus's crate in here as well. And yeah, this is pretty much the master cabin. Full master head as well. And I didn't realize, again, until we started looking at boats, that there was actually boats that did not have separate showers. And so there were a couple of boats that we looked at where the shower head was right here and everything in the bathroom got wet, and so it became a pretty significant requirement of mine that we had a separate shower. And so I'm really, really grateful for that. And yeah.
Tank, electrosand, pump out, we can go overboard, we can go toilet to electrosand, we can go tank to electrosand. It's just a matter of moving some valves around to be able to send the waste where we want it. One of the things that is throughout the boat, both in the salon as well as in here, are electric hatches. Kimberly is about 5'4", and she could reach the hatches, but she had to stand up on something, and the hatches are heavy. So we went ahead and put in an electric capability for her to be able to put those up and down as she needed, and it's awesome because I use it all the time. I don't think I've manually opened a hatch, ever since we put these things in. In addition to that, we also put in these pretty neat high efficiency vent fans that are in the hatches that really pull air one way or the other and ventilate the boat when we need it. All 12 volt and works off our big system, our big Xantrex system. It takes a lot of power to deliver the comforts that we have. We doubled the size of our battery bank. We now carry 12 AGM GC2 maintenance-free batteries, in addition to the other 6 batteries that handle the bow thruster and the windlass and the dinghy crane and a number of other issues that we need power for, and we also carry spares. So the engine has 2 of its own batteries, the generator has 2 of its own starting batteries, so we're pretty much set, and we can move batteries around when we need to if we have a problem. Underneath all the stuff that you see is more storage, more storage, more storage. So even though the exhaust system runs out the back end underneath the deck plates here, underneath this large queen bed is a whole bunch of other storage space for us to be able to put things in. And then again, the entertainment system is in here as well. We have DVD and TV, and it's all connected to the antennas up on the mast, and we just tune in when we're in a new spot. There are also dual 12 volt and 110 volt systems throughout the boat for us to be able to be at the dock or to be out in energy conservation mode on anchor or out cruising. So we wanted you to get an idea of the conditions that we live in on Take Me There. It is really comfortable. We have spent a lot of time, energy, and effort to have the things that we want and to be able to support the things that we want.
So thanks again for joining us on the tour of Take Me There.